Hello, and today I am blessed to have with me Sarah Olson, who is a licensed clinical social worker. And so we're just going to talk today a little bit about the mental, emotional, and spiritual health during this time of the coronavirus.
Hello.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. During this time of the quarantine, is it normal to feel stressed out?
Absolutely. This was something that, even though I've been on the news and we knew it was happening in Washington State, I think that in our area, at least, we thought, oh, it's not coming to Southern Illinois or our lives won't change. And then all of a sudden it just happened so abruptly. I think if we had been prepared maybe a little bit more, things would have looked very differently. What I've kind of equated it to in my mind is kind of like a bad magician that took a tablecloth and we were all sitting down at dinner and all of a sudden the tablecloth was jerked out from under us but the magic trick didn't go very well and all the dishes and silverware went everywhere and it just kind of went everywhere. I remember the night that I was trying to learn more about it. My mom had kept warning me and I kind of, Mama does know best sometimes. And I had said to her, oh, whatever, Mom. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting emails from my place of work. I got a text message from one of my friends that said, my classes are going completely online. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Mom and I had been at a doctor's appointment for her in St. Louis, and we had been at a Walgreens in Fairview Heights. And there were people there on the phone talking to their spouses or loved ones, I could tell, and people were putting in their carts, toilet paper and hand sanitizer was already off the shelf. I'm like, oh my gosh, this really is happening. So I think that abruptness was so life-changing. And then that weekend, the stores were packed. Toilet paper was gone. Something like toilet paper, I mean, who would have ever thought? My husband went to the store for us, and he said he went to Louisiana State for his PhD, and he said, Sarah, they were passing out toilet paper like they were after Hurricane Katrina had hit when they were passing out water. And I thought, wow, that's like disaster. Immediately the term disaster hit in my mind. And that is traumatic. I mean, we're almost going through like trauma, or one of my friends has said to me, it's almost like we're grieving. So yes, that stress is very normal. Our routines have been completely turned upside down. If we want to go to the store, we have to think about where are we going to go? How are we going to do that? Stores that have been open 24 hours a day, they're not. How am I going to get a mask? How am I going to do this? I can't take my kids to the store. If my kids aren't in school, oh my goodness, what is that like? Their lives have been turned upside down. So many things, going to church, seeing our friends, seeing our loved ones, our elderly loved ones. We want to protect them. None of that is happening. And so that level of stress that we weren't prepared for is just, our worlds are completely turned upside down. I do believe some good things have come from this. I've seen communities come together. I've seen relationship building happening. I think that's really wonderful, but that level of stress, absolutely. And then that develops to other things as well.
What about anxiety and depression?
Absolutely. And often anxiety and depression can go hand in hand. Anxiety is kind of that more knot in your stomach, or that constant worry, and bigger things are happening with people too, besides, oh, I can't go to Walmart at 2 in the morning. I mean, people have lost their jobs, or their jobs have completely changed, or people have lost insurance, or they filed for unemployment and maybe they've gotten turned down for that. Those huge life-changing things are happening. So anxiety through the roof, depression, it's when people are sad, that looks like sadness and crying, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough. It also looks like, and sometimes that can also turn into symptoms like anger. Getting just frustrated at every little thing, and when you're cooped up with, a family that you're not used to because you're running here and there and you might see each other at dinner and you're hardly having dinner together and that kind of thing. You're with each other all the time. It could be stressful and could definitely produce, a variety of mental health symptoms. So a lot of this is normal, and yet can be very taxing on people. And it does concern me about various people. And it concerns me too about people who live alone. That loneliness, that depression can kick in. So it's concerning about mental health, definitely. Not only do we have a health crisis with the pandemic, but also a mental health. I think we will see a definite rise of a need of mental health providers and that kind of thing.
So what are some ways that we can combat the stress and the anxiety and the depression and the loneliness?
Well,
healthy ways, I should say.
Right, because, I think some people are handling it maybe in unhealthy ways. One thing is be kind to yourself. I think people sometimes during this some people want to have like 25 projects and I'm going to redo my house or, I'm going to get 25 things done today, and just be kind with yourself, If you only get just a few things done today, that's okay. Try to stay on a schedule if you can. Don't sleep till noon one day and then get up at 5 in the morning the next day. Try to stay on a schedule if you can. Especially good for kids, especially good for the elderly. It's very important. Try to get outside. Vitamin D from the sun and fresh air is really, really important. We've been pretty lucky this spring. Thank goodness this is not happening in the winter.
I know. That would really magnify.
Definitely was, with the shorter days and things like that. So we've had longer days. We've had tons of rain, not for southern Illinois at least, knock on wood. So try to get outside, try to get some sun, try to get some exercise. Even if it's just like 10-minute spurts, if you can, just a little walk down the street or, or even, just like some yoga or just sit-ups or something like that. I shouldn't talk. I'm sometimes bad about this, but sometimes I will walk around my block and things like that or run after my kids. But just try to, not sit around the whole time. I sometimes think, too, watching the news all day long can be very taxing.
Yes.
And I say that, I think it's important to be informed. I really do. But I think that constant back and forth and watching the numbers and now there's so much going on in Illinois, hearing a lot of that can be very worrisome. And there's nothing we can do to change it.
No.
We're not lawmakers. And we have to just kind of go with it. We can't control it. There's one person in control. And so we all know who that is. So, we can't control it. So we just have to kind of go with it. And watching the news constantly can really, there have been studies out there that show that can really lead to depression and anxiety. So, kind of maybe just stick to watching the news, like maybe, a half hour, or you pick a certain news segment you want to watch and you turn it off and, just move on then, or, you watch it on Facebook. A big thing too is to reach out to people. Hopefully you're technologically savvy. That's where Facebook can be very positive. Instagram, that kind of thing, or texting or calling. And if you're not tech savvy, well, there's still the phone. Pick up and call people, and I'll tell you what, I love getting mail. I get tired of just getting junk mail and bills. So writing somebody and saying, hey, I miss you, even if it's on a piece of regular paper, I think that's wonderful. I got some mail the other day, and I was just ecstatic. My cousin had written me, so it was really neat, and it just, I don't know, it really warmed my heart. And that could be something, too, for people who are in assisted living or nursing homes. Means so much to them because right now they can't accept visitors. People in hospitals and things like that. So we need to think about them and pray for them too, that they're going through a really rough time as well, because we can't go visit them, we can't expose them to potentially anything, and so just maybe sitting down and writing. Journaling can be a huge thing. That can be very helpful to get some of your feelings out on paper. to express like, today I'm feeling pretty good about some things and this is what I did. And tomorrow I'm not feeling so good. These are the things I'm experiencing, and I'm angry today because I'm tired of being in quarantine. I'm tired of not seeing my friends or being at work or going to school or whatever. Journaling can be really, really helpful. And not only just with words, but even with drawing can be a very, very cathartic process. So those are just some ideas I have. Praying, definitely. Reading the Bible.
Yes. I think this is a time that God's kind of taking us off that roller coaster of life. And now all of a sudden we have time to spend with Him.
Yes.
We have time to pray. We have time to study the scriptures. And I think we're learning, I'm learning the value of friendships and family. Definitely can't be with them, but can call, like you said. Call them, send them a note, do something. And I'm delivering masks, so if anyone needs a mask,
That's great.
call me or the church. We've delivered over 100 masks.
Wow.
And it's been a wonderful ministry, and I have to share this story because it's such a blessing. A lady who lives in assisted living, they're stuck in their room. They are not allowed to get out. And she was just crying, just miserable. And she got my mask. I sent it in the mail because I couldn't even drop it off.
Sure.
She gets the mask and she gets it and she's so excited. And so she goes out in the hall just because she can. Now she's got a mask, and it just made her day. Something that little just changed her whole outlook.
Oh my goodness, that just
So,
warms my heart.
Think what a phone call will do.
Absolutely.
Or you can go visit them. I haven't done this yet because I'm kind of hesitant to stock their room and be a window peeper, but
Yeah.
you can go out and see them through the window. The families maybe more so than, unless I call and let them know I'm going to come and not scare them to death.
True, that's true. But I know I have a friend that she does see her grandmother through the window. Yeah, and I know one of my good friends, she does that with her parents. She'll take her kids and they'll visit through the window, and so we're having to be creative during this time, and
Yes.
And yeah, maybe people can put their sewing skills to use.
Exactly.
I do not sew, unfortunately. I'm cooking more, which is another challenge for me. I'm not the best cook. But definitely, I think this is challenging us, and it is showing us the value of friendships and connecting with people and slowing down. I mean, and my family is just as guilty of this, so many activities and running here, there, and everywhere, and it's now we're abruptly stopping it, and it's like, oh my goodness, now it's stopped. I look at my calendar and I have so many things written in there in pen, of course, and so many things are not there, and I'm thinking, oh man, and trying to manage our children and keeping them busy, but at the same time, it has been a nice, it's refreshing, because I'll see them out there
Yeah.
on the trampoline, or I'll see them riding their bikes, and I'll see our neighbors out, and neighbors I've never seen before, because either I've not been home or they've not been home, and so there's that sense of community is coming together, and that's so amazing about the mask with the woman in the assisted living, something so simple. We definitely need the masks.
Yeah.
People need masks, and
Well, it's going to be required as of May 1st.
exactly.
So
And
you don't have a choice.
that's right. And then people will need multiple ones too, because they can't always wash it immediately. So having multiple masks available so people can, put their skills to sewing or something like that to help, give back to the community would be wonderful.
Well, we have been blessed with many that are out there making masks. I'm not making those masks. I don't sew. But we have people that do. And it's what a sense of purpose to use a skill that God gave you to use to share during this time and help others. And another thing we didn't mention, but as I look at Corinne, I think music is a great soothing, healing instrument to use.
It is.
And so that's something else that we could do too, just listening to music. So.
Definitely listening to music, and if you have that talent, Facebook Live is so great. I have a friend that sometimes will play the guitar and go on Facebook Live and he'll take requests, and He'll say, I'm going live at this time, and he'll get on there and play. It's really neat to hear him. So, yeah, and I know a lot of celebrities have done that as well. They'll take requests, and it's really kind of neat to see people raw like that, and, in their own, and, not in their celebrity, just in a t-shirt and jeans. It's, really cool to see that. So there have been some good things to come from this, but it's very taxing mentally and emotionally, and I keep thinking, gosh, I'm so tired. And I've read a few articles saying that this is normal, because to be tired, because you're having to think and process so many different steps that we've never experienced before. And fear and the unknown is a very real thing, and that's very taxing emotionally and mentally. We don't know. We don't know about this virus and how long we're going to have to be in quarantine per se, and are we going back to school in the fall, and what's it going to look like for this, and what activities can we not do or can do, and can we be around people, and so on and so forth, and just those unknowns. We don't like that as humans, not today's society.
Don't like change either.
We don't at all, that's right. So that's very taxing. So just be forgiving, with yourself and with others, and be kind. That's a big thing, and just know that what you're experiencing is normal. And if these symptoms start to bother you, call your primary care physician. That's certainly one piece of advice I have for you. They're available. Those offices are open in some form or fashion. Somebody's answering those calls. In Illinois, we have telehealth, which is wonderful, where you don't even have to go in to some offices. So you can do almost like a FaceTime type thing, where you don't even have to go in the office. Some offices have that capability, which is wonderful. So, preventing germs and that kind of thing.
That's great.
So I highly recommend that. If your symptoms are getting to the point where you're completely not sleeping, you're very much physically affected, call your primary care doctor.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming and talking with me and talking with all of us at the church. It's our church family, and we appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you for having me.